Yeah.
Yo, what's going on, Raider Nation? This is Bo Nose.
And this is Raider Reef.
This is another episode of
Shield
Talk.
Talk.
What up, Raider Reef? How you doing,
man? I'm doing good, bro. Just cooling, man. Looking forward to this interview, man. I've been hearing about Stuart Schweigert for a few years now, man. So I'm looking forward to this interview. I know he's a wild boy.
yeah, Stuart, man. He's been all over the lines with Docs and a lot of other creators. So we thought it'd be cool to bring him on the Shield Talk. Get his insights. His origin story, where he comes from. You know what I mean? I know he went to the University of Purdue. He racked up 30 interceptions. He was a 3-time All Big Ten player, and he was a Big Ten Freshman of the year 2000. So just really looking to get some insight, pick his brain a little bit. So I'm very excited. Let's bring him on, man.
Let's bring him on.
Yeah.
The Madden and college football games that I was in.
Yeah.
Because I was in like NCAA 2000 my freshman year. I was actually in the game. But the 06 Madden was my favorite.
Oh,
hey,
when they had rushing attack, I used to people up with my guy.
06 was a hell of a year for that Raiders defense.
Yeah, no, and really, I mean, the whole time that we were there, we had solid defense. But that year, number one pass defense, third overall defense. I was second in the NFL with 109 tackles for safeties. We won 2 games. It's like, what the man?
Yeah, the offense couldn't get it going.
We played the Houston Texans, and they finished the game with -7 passing yards.
Sorry.
Wow. That's crazy,
Art
man.
Art Shell was bad, man.
Yeah, he was.
That offensive line, you had Art Shell, you had Jackie Slater and Irv Eatman, 2 Hall of Famers and a 16-year vet, and the offensive line was not getting coached whatsoever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I just go to show you, no matter how great of a player you are, that don't always translate to coaching.
Well, you know what, and that's a good point, because a lot of times the really, really great players don't make the best coaches because they were gifted and didn't have to go through some of the steps. Players like for instance, I'm asking Robert Gallery, like, what the going on in there? You know what I mean? Like, Stu, man, well, hey coach, when they're in this, when they're in a 4-man front and the strong safety's coming down on a blitz and the Mike's moving over to the A gap, what's our response? Just block them. Well, yeah, but should we step? Should we cross? Should we just block them? And it's like, what the does that mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I need it. And back in the day, right? Just block them. You know what I mean? They were able to do it. A guy like, Charles Woodson, phenomenal player, great leader, great, prepared like a champion, but he could do things unorthodox. We told the rookies, like, listen, he's one of the greatest ever, but don't copy anything he does because you can't do it. You're not going to get away with it. So sometimes those great players don't make the best coaches because it happened naturally for them, right? So
yeah. That's why I feel like your situation is everything. Being drafted in the right place with the right people there to develop you, over time. Because
it is absolutely everything. And now there's going to be those 2 or 3 guys on each team. Well, maybe not even that much, but maybe 1 guy per team that could go to any team under any situations and have a Hall of Fame career, right?
Right.
But for the rest of it, it's all about timing, situations, coaching staffs, playing on national TV, getting a team that makes a playoff run, getting that household name. Yeah. And if you're not on there, it doesn't matter how good you are. You're just kind of you're always the last man. You're always kind of just scraping by, while another guy, you're looking at it going, statistics wise and playing ability wise, he's not even close to me, but you know what? He's on a great team. He's on a nationally televised team. You know what I mean? So people see him, and I always say, not only the best players don't always play. The best players on a team, it comes down to, and again, when you have coaching staffs coming in, they want to bring their guys in, man. It's hard to, each year to prove and to establish yourself, because you're constantly in a state of like tryout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
proving yourself. Yeah. Got to prove yourself all over again to the new regime.
Oh, we're live. Okay, sorry guys, I didn't know that we were live. All right,
we live, man.
No.
Okay,
we're good. We're good.
I thought we were just pre talking there. Okay, cool. All right.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we're on track. Everything's good. We're doing good, bro. I mean, we have a couple questions for you. My first question would be, in 2004, going into the third round of the draft, did you kind of have an idea of what team you were going to, and how was that process?
That's a good question, because I have a pretty good story with that. So, obviously, during my junior year of college, right, scouts are coming in, so you see the scouts, and they'll ask you questions, or they'll sit down with you, or coaches will say, hey, just so you know, the Philadelphia Eagles coach was, wanted to watch film on you. So, from my junior year of college all the way up to the draft, right? At the NFL Combine, obviously, at the Senior Bowl is where it really starts to pick up, right? They can really talk with you. You're being coached by an NFL staff. I mean, it's pretty wild at the Senior Bowl down there. But teams are showing you a lot of interest, right? So, there's probably 10 teams that you're talking with your agent, you're getting a feeling for, and this and that. And so I remember the Houston Texans I thought would be a team, the Bengals, the Browns. Trying to think of New England. So this would have been at the NFL Combine. So so the first day, and actually I have the schedule of the Combine. So here's kind of the breakdown of what the Combine, per day. So the first day you fly in. And it's 3 exams. So you meet with all of their doctors, x-rays, leg strength test, stretch, massage sticks. And it's like just going over that day one. It's just all prodding doctors looking at you. Right. Then, I mean, literally you go into a room, you sit on a table, and there's like 40 guys just poking at you and stuff.
Yeah.
Day 2, that's when you complete the physicals. If you have to go back and get anything else done, the bench press test, the Wonderlic test, and then they measure you and weigh you. And that's where, I don't know if you guys saw Colin Kaepernick's whole little ridiculous video he had, but where we're in our underwear and we're on stage, and, they shot out the numbers, body fat, and that thing, right? So, and then the evening, we were at a hotel. It's no longer there anymore because it was at the RCA Dome. In the first floor, what they do is they have suites, and they clear the suites out, and each team has a hotel room.
Right.
And you're given a card, and every 15 minutes there's a horn that blows. And okay, at 7:00 I'm with the Rams. At 7:15 I'm with the Lions. At 7:30 I'm going to be with the Chiefs. Yeah. And you get a little schedule there, and you walk in, and it's literally you, a chair, and then the entire coaching staff, front office, owner. I mean, whoever's going to be in there, man, whoever's making the decision, they're just firing questions off at you.
Right.
So what you do is from like 9 to 10 o'clock, if you don't have meetings, there was like an open area where they say, hey, just go in there and, hey, be quiet. There's coaches in there. We're like, hey, go in there. There'll be scouts in there, coaches. Guys will grab you, fill out questionnaires. It's just another opportunity for you to get in front of people.
Right.
So, I mean, I knew a little bit about the Raiders, right? Growing up, I was a running back, and our team was silver and black, and I loved Bo Jackson, so I was number 34 and stuff like that. Terry McDaniels is from Saginaw, Michigan, so I knew about the Raiders and everything. But I'm in there, and all of a sudden this elderly man comes up, and just kind of has an old ass, just sun blot out hat. It's half over here, his glasses are down like this, and he says, what's your name? I'm like, okay, this is already starting off bad, right? Like, this guy doesn't even know he doesn't know my name, right? And he's like, he goes, what's your name? I said, Stuart Schweigert. And he goes, here, come sit down. So he sit down and barely looks at me, and name, phone number, school, 3 worst games, 3 best games, email address. Thank you very much, son. And I look, and it was just a little Raiders logo on there. I'm like, well, I know I'm not going to the Raiders. Jesus, I mean, they didn't have any idea who I was, no information. I'm filling out a sheet that I should have filled out months ago, right?
Yeah.
Well, come to find out, it was Willie Brown.
Wow.
That interviewed me. And even during the draft, that was the only time I had any communication with the Raiders.
Wow.
And what happens a lot is the good front office people, and here's the thing, guys, you'll notice that there's a reason why some teams always lose, and there's a reason why some teams always have the ability to kind of be there in the race, right?
Right.
It's one, good coaching, and it's good front office personnel people coming in that can evaluate talent.
Yes.
And I have 2 older brothers, 2 older sisters, and me and not my oldest brother, but my other brother, we've just always had that eye for evaluation. I mean, within 45 seconds, I just know it. I don't know if it's because I've been around great athletes and been around that. I mean, and I look at some of these picks and some of these guys that they get so excited for, and I'm looking at it going, what the freak, man? Like,
what do you see there? Yeah.
Or there's another guy that no one's talking about. I'm thinking, dude, for instance, Paulo Malo, or goddamn, whoever we picked up in free agency.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he was a free agent. And you have the guy from Georgia going to Minnesota in the first round, and he was garbage stats, but he's on Georgia, right?
Right.
So what some of these teams do is they will actually get really high on a guy. So when I'm at the Senior Bowl, they're out in front, all around me, interviewing me. I'm, giving me clothes to wear at the combine, because you know what they're doing? The inexperienced coaches, the inexperienced front office, they're looking to see what Belichick's doing, and they're looking to see what Jerry Jones is doing, right? So
it's a copycat league.
Oh, they're really, man. They're always talking to this guy, man.
Yeah.
They really want this guy. Well, if he wants him, then that means he must be a pretty good player. Well, you know what they're doing? They're bluffing.
Mind games.
They are bluffing. That's why you see in the draft when someone gets picked, they're like, "What the?" Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, so and then the guys they really want, they don't
really touch them.
Yeah, they don't say much about it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's
That's what Al was doing to you.
And you know what? Each year Al would have a pick.
Yeah.
Each year, there's hours and here's the thing too, guys, that's amazing is the amount of hours and studying and reports that are given during the draft, and the mistakes are still made. I'm thinking, my Lord, but Al every year would come in and all of a sudden, boom, this is who we're taking right now. And they're like, we didn't really talk about this guy. He wasn't really on our board. Obviously, we kind of thought about him or whatnot, but nope, this is who we're taking now. You know what I mean? So I was his pick for that draft. He liked my size. He liked my speed. And it was nice knowing that. It was very nice. Hey, buddy. What's up, man? It's my son, Alex.
What's up, Alex?
Say hi, bud.
Hey, how's it going, Alex?
How you doing, man?
All right, buddy. I got to do the show, okay? So your question, I think your question was, did I have any acknowledge, or did I know the Raiders were interested in me? Yes. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback off of that. I was just going to ask you, what was it like getting that phone call from the legendary Al Davis?
Well, here's another funny story. So it's back then it was Saturday at about noon, the draft would start, and it'd be the first 3 rounds on Saturday, and then 4 through 7 in free agency on Sunday.
Okay.
So, and here's the thing too. I for whatever reason, football is a very weird from college to pro, right? Basketball, they can go to the combine and talk to coaches and agents and get an evaluation and go, you know what, I'm going to go back. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, they'll even tell you what to work on. Football, it's like you have no idea. You have no idea. You try to get an evaluate late first to early sixth, and it's like, well,
yeah.
You know, like, God, can you just narrow it down a little bit more? So you look at it, you look at the safeties ahead of you. So I had, it was a good safety class. It was Sean Taylor, God rest his soul, Bob Sanders, Sean Jones from Georgia, Madu Williams from Maryland, who went to Cincinnati. I think there was one. So Sean Jones, Madu Williams, Bob Sanders, Sean Taylor, me. So you start to look and you go, okay, where do I rank amongst these guys? But you just never know. And during the draft, as you see, there'll be these runs where also in one position, guys get nervous. They start grabbing and going up real quick, right?
Yeah.
So you just never know what's going to happen. So you kind of have an evaluation, but your agent, Ben Douglas says, Stu, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be, it's going to be a long day. And I was thinking, because I had a really, really good combine. I was thinking, probably early second to, let's say at the worst, early fourth or something like that.
Okay.
I didn't think I could break into the first round. So it would start at noon, and my dad rented out this bar called whatever it was. We had, all my family and stuff there, and the draft starts, and it's at noon, and there's all this excitement. Then, Sean Taylor gets picked up, and I'm like, oh, that's I understood that. That's legit.
Yeah.
And Bob Sanders, and I'm like, he was in my league, and he's always hurt, and he didn't even perform at the Senior Bowl, but whatever.
They draft potential too. They go potential.
They do. They do.
So,
and I'll be perfectly honest with you guys, and I talk about this candidly. Me being a white safety, from the Big Ten and specifically Purdue,
they
had great locker room guy, good effort guy. You know what I mean? We can count on him, but not very fast, not very athletic.
He was a hell of a player, though. I mean,
you held your own, man.
And I remember, so growing up, you guys remember a guy named Charles Rogers? Michigan State was the number 2 draft pick in the 2003 draft to the Lions.
Yeah.
We battled each other in basketball, football, and track since we were 14.
Right.
And he really, there wouldn't be Stuart Schweigert without Charles Rogers because he was the nation's number 1 athlete. And my junior year in the state track meet, I was the 100-meter dash state champion in the state of Michigan, Class A, for the first time for a white guy to win it since 1956.
Wow.
And I beat Charles Rogers. This would be like a white guy beating Usain Bolt. Like,
oh, wow.
What the hell? So then that really elevated me in recruiting wise, like the 6'3",
Who is this white boy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then, so it's been proven that I can run.
Right.
Then I'm in the Big Ten. I'm running down guys, right? And this goes along again with bad coaching in front offices. I'm sitting there with the Detroit Lions and Steve Mariucci, and I think he's a bonehead. He says, hey, Stu, you think you're going to break a 4.6 tomorrow? And I'm like, I said, I haven't ran a 4.6 since I was like in 6th grade.
Damn.
But I'm also thinking this. The guy that you picked number 2 last year as number 1, but the number 2 overall pick?
Yeah.
I beat him. So you got to know that I can freaking run. I mean, do you guys not do any research or what's the deal with it? Or again, the fact that I'm a white guy from the Big Ten, it's just you have that stigma.
Right.
So again, it was a deal where I had to really and even at the combine, when I ran the fastest L shuttle there, that bar position, even then, after even doing that, it was like some team still didn't doubt, didn't believe it. But anyway, so Bob Sanders, okay, whatever. Well, then all of a sudden, Sean Jones to Cleveland, because Chuck Pagano at the time came to Purdue and worked me out. He was the DB coach for the Browns.
Oh, okay.
And I thought I was going to go to Cleveland. And all of a sudden they draft Sean Jones. And I'm like, fuck, a junior out of Georgia. We played Georgia in the bowl game. I don't really remember him.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden Madu Williams, and I'm thinking like, and by the time this time it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock now, and we went for a little, I got some air, and then it's about 8 o'clock, and then I think, like I said, Madu Williams got drafted. I'm like, oh boy, like it was the teams that I was kind of thinking were gonna pick me up, so I'm like, oh, like this could be bad. This could be one of those deals where like you shouldn't have had a party, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's about 8 o'clock, and my brother-in-law's brother, I was outside getting some air, and he comes out and he says, Stu, I got to take off. He said, it's going to happen. He said, here's my lucky jacket. And he worked for Budweiser. And it was like a Budweiser, like leather varsity coat. I put one sleeve in, and my phone rings private.
Wow.
And I'm going, oh, shit. So I pick it up. Hello? And it's a woman on the phone. Hey, can I speak to Stuart Schweigert, please? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, hey, I want to congratulate you on being picked 66th or 67th overall to the Oakland Raiders. And I go, I thought it was a joke, because usually it's, it's the coach who's calling or, whatever. Right. And I'm like, thinking Raiders wasn't even on my freaking radar. Right.
Right.
I'm sitting here going, and as she's kind of talking to me, the bar erupts because it went on the screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So then, I set up my stuff and, my flight information, and that was a Saturday night. And Thursday, I was at the mini camp, and it wasn't a rookie mini camp; it was a full team mini camp. Yeah. So it was a very long day. It was an awesome day. We enjoyed ourselves afterwards. Where you could just everyone. It was just a great. The news was there, and it felt like a community was. They all felt a part of it, which they were. They really were.
I think you kind of answered this question, but my next question would be like, how did it feel to put on the silver and black for the first time? What was that like?
So again, guys, I didn't when I was growing up. I mean, I liked the hometown teams, the Red Wings, Pistons, Lions, Tigers, Michigan State, whatever. But I wasn't one of those guys that watched. I didn't watch a whole lot of sports. I played them. I didn't watch, my brothers liked, I didn't know who, obviously I knew who Barry Sanders was and like the big name guys because I played Tecmo Bowl and stuff like that. Hold on one second. Hey! Can you guys please just shut the door and just be a little courteous? Okay. So you just walk right by the door. Thank you.
Big Stu.
I have 4 kids, so thank you, Cameron. Good. So I didn't, I wasn't one of those guys that knew a whole lot. So, going out to the Raiders, I didn't know a whole lot about the Raiders. I knew about Lyle Izado because my father played at Yankton College where Lyle Izado, when Lyle Izado left Yankton, my dad took his spot at defensive end out there. So I knew about him. I knew Charles Woodson because growing up in Michigan, that was right when I was like a sophomore in high school, 97. He was the guy. he was just the man, dude. He was unbelievable. Yeah. So I knew about him, Tim Brown, whatever. Right. So, I get out there and it's a Thursday. And I remember kind of Clayton Lopez was my coach, picked me up from the airport, hands me a playbook, and we go and I, asked me what jersey I want. I'm trying on a helmet. And then I kind of had some time to kind of, before practice started to kind of look around a little bit. So I go into the training room and there's no one in there, but there's a guy sitting on the training table and his ankles are taped. He's just got some Raiders shorts on, no shirt, gray chest hair. His hair's gray, reading the New York Times. And I'm sitting there thinking, that's Rich Gannon. And I'm going, holy shit, that's my teammate. That's a grown ass man. That's like getting ready to go to work, right? Like it wasn't like practice. It was like this dude's just getting ready. I'm like, it just kind of set the tone for me a little bit, right?
That's the big leagues.
Like, okay, let's go here. So right away, I'm in the locker room and I'm sizing guys up. Right away, I do that all the time.
That's natural, yeah.
Looking and seeing who guys are. And I was a guy where I was speak when spoken to.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to try to be all buddy with guys, try to jump in right away. I'm just I'm just sitting back, taking everything and listening to who says they know everything and listen to this and da-da-da-da. Because again, I want to know how to be a professional. So I'm looking at, and at this point, Woodson, he had a contract issue, so he wasn't there. He didn't come until the first week against Pittsburgh. So, so looking at this going on and putting the Raiders stuff on, and, you go out there, and then, Al Davis is out there. And at this point, he could still walk on his own. He didn't need the roller, the little cart. He didn't need the golf cart. He was able to stand on his own, right? And he had his own little like Secret Service security around him. And these guys were all big dudes, all leathered out, like cool as hell, but it was just like kind of gangster, you know what I mean?
Right.
And again, this is a full biddy, dude. This is full go, man. I mean, you're out there with everybody. So my idea was, I'm going to pay these guys respect, but I'm going to go out here and try to make as many plays as I can on these guys.
Right.
The number one thing. So getting to putting on the Raiders thing, you're so concentrated on the football aspect of it. Willie Brown, who, God rest his soul, phenomenal person. I don't know if you guys ever had a chance to meet Willie Brown, but the sweetest, most humble, funny man you could ever to be around. I mean, just a guy that was I was so honored to be able to have him in my life. Didn't do any alcohol or drugs. Did smoke the hell out of True Blue cigarettes. Him and Fred Blitnikoff. He was kind of a coach, but he was also kind of that guy that we could go to that wasn't a coach. You know what I mean? That we could kind of confide in if you needed something. He was kind of our almost like player liaison type thing.
Right.
But he calls all the rookies into the meeting room, I think after the first practice Thursday. So this is Thursday evening before we go to the hotel. And he gets us all there. Put your pads down. Put your playbooks down. Doesn't mean, I don't know. Can I swear on here or no?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Doesn't mean shit, guys.
Yeah.
He's on stage. I swear to God, he's wearing the same freaking outfit he wore when he interviewed me, man. I swear to God, right?
Right.
So like tapered sweatpants and just like, you know what I mean? Like just some old ass, like warm up, like jacket, and faded hat, Yeah. And he had this book, and it was the history of the Raiders organization from how it started from, and he said, guys, listen, he goes, this is what you need to study tonight. Wow. You need to know the history of this organization. Wow. You need to know how we won 3 Super Bowls, how we're one of the most recognized franchises in the world.
Yeah.
And I want you to make sure that the guys that came before you, you look and you see what did they do to become Hall of Famers?
Right.
What type of careers did they need to have? And secondly, those guys are going to be around here, and you better go up and pay your homage to those guys. Wow. Okay. That's when I paid respect to history and universities, but that really put it into a different perspective. Because I'm thinking this, can you imagine this, guys? If I'm at mini camp or OTA as a free safety, Jack Tatum's sitting right next to me, and I don't acknowledge that he's there,
man,
I would be so embarrassed. But I'm just thinking from his aspect of it, because I'm here at Purdue, and I go around the guys, and I'd be like, who does this mother think he is? Doesn't even come up, and I mean, I'm the one of the greatest to ever play the position. He doesn't even ask me, like, he doesn't say hi to me. One of all, and first of all, like, doesn't ask me for any advice or nothing. So that really put things in perspective as far as appreciating what the guys did before you and knowing that it's not the number on your jersey. It's not you. Okay. It's not just you. It's every guy who's ever worn that
shield
number or the shield. Yeah. But
shield.
Specifically that number or that position. And it's not only that former player, but it's every family member of his. It's every fan of his. They're going to be watching you. And if you go out there and you're not prepared and that one thing I would never, ever have is I would never have someone go, you know what? He wasn't prepared. He didn't give it his all.
Right.
Did I make every play? No. They're professionals too. but nobody can ever say I didn't give it everything I had, because I respected the fact that you're playing for a team that, first of all, you're in a league that such a small percentage can play in, and then two, you're playing for the Oakland, you're playing for the Raiders, man. Like like this, they're in every freaking video. I mean, everyone's wearing the Raiders stuff, man. Like that's like the cool thing to do, wearing the Raiders stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm out there, and then here's the other aspect of it. So you guys know this whole Tannenhill thing, right? With him saying,
Malik Willis,
it's complete. I mean, the arrogance and the
entitlement. Sense of entitlement.
Unbelievable. Listen, buddy, we know it's not in your contract to coach this guy. We know that. But you're telling me that you're not going to at least help this kid out?
Let's get back to the game.
I was talking about this on one of the streams. I said, there's nothing better than mentoring somebody.
Right.
And we were, as professional athletes, we reached the pinnacle of a profession, right? So we have access to information and stuff that 99% of people don't have access to.
Right.
And I'm thinking, if you were to hold that in, you're disrespecting the game, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember Ray Buchanan was a huge advocate for me, a huge mentor of mine. I just spoke with him just a couple minutes ago. He didn't have to. I didn't go. I knew who he was, obviously, but he came. Hey, Stu, get over here. You know what I mean? Just, hey, you got any questions and you need anything? And hey, and it wasn't just about being a football player. It was about being a professional.
Right.
And that was awesome. Guys like Warren Sapp and guys like Tyrone Wheatley, and these are all guys that they didn't. I think what it is, it's. I know it's his position, but I trained a kid named Brian Cole from Saginaw, Michigan, since 6th grade. He went to Mississippi State, got drafted by the Minnesota Vikings last year. There was nothing better than me giving him a little tack or a little knowledge or a technique thing, and then watch him go out and use that technique and be successful with it. That feeling was outweighed anything I could do of my own ability. Wow. Right. And to have a player, first of all, come up and actually acknowledge that he wants to, to be around you. So I bring this up because Rod Woodson was still with the Raiders when I went to the minicamp. Rod Woodson was a Purdue Hall of Famer. I broke Rod Woodson's interception record. I tied it as a sophomore, broke it. He had 11. I finished with 17 in my career. So not only did I break a record of his, not only did I come out there and, eventually he knew that he was going to be cut by me. He was still helping me out. And the last period of that mini camp, he said, Stu, come here for a second. He goes, what are you seeing out there? I said, I'm looking at this. He goes, well, you're going to play cover 4, a lot of cover 4 this series. And he goes, here's a route combination. Here's a concept. If it's a receiver and a tight end on the left, let's say it's 2x2, right, and now the receiver's off the line and he's kind of, on a split towards a little bit, not like a bunch split, but down a little bit. He said, just watch, just take a look at this. If they both come off the ball vertical and that receiver breaks in at 5 yards, he goes, it's probably going to be a chair route. That tight end's going to sit at 10 and run a dig. So if those guys are coming up and that receiver comes underneath that 5, he goes, stop your feet. Don't get any more depth. I go out there, play happens. I get the interception, and I end the camp, my first mini camp, with an interception. And this here is kind of a cool picture. This picture right here.
Like, push it up a little bit. Yeah. Oh yeah!
Wow, legendary.
This is literally right after that play. He goes, Schweigert. He's over there. He's got his, the Raiders, the same, either the white or the black. Yeah. He's got his towel. He's got the glasses. I mean, just like you would picture, right? And he's Schweigert over here. Yeah, Mr. Davis. He goes, man, that ball just seems to find your hands. I said, well, Mr. Davis, I said, I don't even remember. I think I just said, thank you so much for this. And he grabbed you can see there, he grabs my jersey and I walk him into the facility. And it was a very special moment for me. But it went back to Rod Woodson. I mean, the best to ever do it.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to a kid who broke his record in college, a guy who's really taking over his position. And he gave me a little tidbit of knowledge that allowed me to get an interception, that allowed me to impress Al Davis and get this picture of it. You know what I mean? So, it was a good mini camp. It was a great experience. I don't even know if that was the question you guys asked, but that was kind of the mini camp. But I will say this: one thing I've been talking about is preparation is so crucial in the NFL. Mm-hmm. You know, you hear like the Allen Iverson thing, what's practice, but basketball's different. Yeah. Hockey's different. Baseball's different. The amount of film study and game planning and scheming and the amount of information and terminology I always say this, it's about 140 hours a week we give to football, right? Out of 140 hours a week, only 5 hours of that week is us actually in football pads on the field. Mm-hmm. The rest of it is we're taking care of our bodies. We're working out. We're getting treatment. We are watching film, going over plays, asking, doing that stuff. And that's the thing that I think last year I didn't see that. Gus Bradley, I didn't like Gus Bradley. I don't think that the guys, they weren't communicating out there, but they didn't have a veteran player to look up to tell them how to study and prepare. I was fortunate. I had Ray Buchanan, Philip Buchanan, Warren Sapp, Bobby Hamilton, Ted Washington, Charles Woodson, Danny Clark. I mean, like, if you didn't know what the hell you were doing, Warren Sapp would be the first one to go, Coach, he ain't playing with me. He ain't gonna fuck up my shit if you don't know
I think at one point in time, Warren Sapp was calling the plays for the whole D line.
Warren Sapp has probably the highest football IQ that I know, next to probably Drew Brees.
Okay.
He's very knowledgeable. Now,
I believe it.
Does he give that information off in a way that sometimes people might take wrong? Does he rub people the wrong way a little bit? Is he aggressive? Yeah, he is. He is. But that was one of the ways. And Warren Sapp he was probably one of my best friends during that first year. So guys, I drove out there with my wife from Purdue. She had a little Saturn Ion, and I bought a bike. I lived close enough on Harbor Bay Parkway where I rode my bike to work. Yeah. I said, let me see how I do this first year before I go and start doing anything stupid, right?
Right.
So I would literally ride my bike like into like the opening gates and skid into like the office area there. And it was probably maybe before the first week or maybe after the first game. We're back in Alameda and I'm sitting off and my bike's next to me and I'm outside the facility. I'm kind of on the phone or whatever, just kind of, hanging out. Mm-hmm. Warren Sapp comes out. Let's go, Stu. Grabs my bike. Takes it over to that was when the H2 Hummer trucks first came out. Mm. Throws it in the back. Where you live? Let's go. I'll take you home. I open up the door. All these spit bottles fall out and stuff like that. But I earned my respect because I gave the game respect.
Right.
Those veteran guys that come from Super Bowl winning teams, mm-hmm. they know what they're doing.
Right.
They go into those games prepared. And again, does it mean you're going to win? No. But I guarantee it gets your chances better. And here's the one thing too is there were some games I felt I prepared great. We still lost, right? Mm-hmm. But I can go home at night and go, yeah, you know what? That happens. They just were better than us that day. Mm-hmm. I've had it also during my career. It didn't happen too often where I did slack a little bit. later on where I did take a little, I'm not going to study so much this week, or I'm not going to, do some extra reps. And when you don't prepare and then you lose,
not to cut you off, Stu, but I got 10% left. My battery is really low. I don't want it to die.
I have 7 or 8 hours stream, so I can talk, man. So
no, you're good. You're good. I'm actually on my phone right now.
Just let me know when you're done, dude, or when I need to get off or whatever, or how much time I have. We're going to 5 minutes.
So we'll just go ahead and wrap it up, and I'll charge this baby, and maybe we can run it again another day when you're free.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Hey man, and Stu, man, we appreciate you coming on, man, dropping your knowledge, and we just can't thank you enough.
Well, guys, to be honest with you, it's therapy for me. It feels good for me because for like 12 years, I couldn't watch football. I didn't wear anything of the Raiders. I didn't say I played for the Raiders. I was embarrassed that I didn't do what I wanted to do. I didn't talk about it. And it was a huge part of my life. And now having it back in here, man, it's great to be able to reconnect and talk football around people that know what they're talking. Now, listen, the nation's great. They're very enthusiastic.
It's a lot of delusional.
They're very passionate. Yeah. They always know what they're talking about. No, they don't. But one of my goals is I tell the nation this is, you know what, I want to make you guys are giving me a perspective of the fans and why you guys do take it so serious. Right. Like I was like, holy smokes, no wonder you guys get so upset because you're a part of it.
Yeah,
you guys are a part of it.
Yeah.
And that was hard for players to really dude, you're a fan, man. Like
relax.
And I'm not being disrespectful, but it was like, these motherfuckers are like, they're like, they want to kill us, And but to get that perspective, I said, what I want to do is I want to make you guys smarter fans. I want to educate you guys, and I want to just say, give a little inside things on before you start just ripping a guy and calling him a piece of shit. Just take a breath here and. You know what? If the guy's out there doing dumb stuff, late penalties, this and that, or he's dogging it, cuss him out. But if he doesn't make a play on a guy, he didn't want to do that, And then again, just other things too is just so you have a better evaluation of talent, just so you know like what to look for, what makes a guy a good player. There's little things that you may not be aware of and go, oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? Now looking at it, that guy's really not that good. Or, man, I never really looked at this guy, but that motherfucker, that guy can play. Yeah. So I always enjoy spitting a little knowledge, talking a little bit about my craft, and then, man. So I appreciate it, dude. I appreciate it.
And I appreciate you too, brother. And like I said, it was a pleasure for you to come on our show. Hopefully we can get you on another show real soon.
Absolutely. And you guys are always welcome on mine as well. I'm probably going to go on a little bit later, so you guys are always welcome.
Okay, I appreciate
that. Always pull up. I encourage people pull up. Get out of the chat box. Let me see your face. Let's talk.
Exactly. And for the viewers out there, make sure you guys subscribe and make sure you guys like. It really helps the channel out. And,
I want to make sure, guys, too. My Instagram, my original Instagram, ThyButcher9, got hacked. Yeah, this guy just I can't get it back. And he's just writing people saying he needs money. He's asking girls to picture. I mean, this guy's out of control. He even sent me a message, right? This is my actual Instagram. Please look at I follow pretty much everybody back.
Yeah.
So
make sure you follow him.
Please. Yeah, please. Yeah. I appreciate it, guys.
Wrap it up, Red Reef.
And we appreciate it, man. And like I said, we'll get you guys more videos. Thanks again, Stu, for coming on the show. And for all the viewers out there, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment.
Real quick, just so people know, on my YouTube page, I have a lot of cool film and behind-the-scenes stuff, high school stuff, family trips,
check out his
stuff.
YouTube page.
A lot of good stuff on there, guys.
Link in the description.
Make sure you check out his YouTube page. We'll put it in the description. And you guys, make sure you guys go support. We love you guys. And I'm Raider Reef.
And this is Bo Nose.
And this is Stu Schwag.
And this is another episode of Shield Talk.
Shield Talk.